live, he says, because he doesn't know, because Facebook gives him no notice whatsoever. Yes, we are live. Hello, love sales, hate selling, watchers, lurkers, shirkers, silent people. We are here today with Zoheb Sadiq of Zocreative.
Hello, guys. How are you doing?
Absolute pleasure to have you here today, sir. I was on your show a couple of weeks ago. It was a lot of fun, and you also caught me on the hoop this week. Yeah, we had another quick 10 minutes. But Zoe is a man that I've known about 2.5 years now. Met him through networking, and this guy has grown. What was you first doing when I met you, Zoe? You wasn't doing the branding and stuff, was you? Was you doing the branding?
It was branding, but it was more, I would say, graphic design, because that's what I learned. That's what I studied. So that's what I was pitching at the start. I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't know what I was pitching when I first started networking, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, I need to have something a little bit more tangible here. So,
well, now since then, Zoe's turned it into a beast with arms and legs. And trust me when I say this guy's taking over the world. So you need to make sure you stay in his slipstream. Because when he's famous and that, he may well drop some of these breadcrumbs off the table.
I just might do.
Right, before we start, sir, we have to strike a pose. We have to do a pose for my YouTube thumbnail. So, after 3, I want your best pout.
Best pout. Ooh, okay.
Okay.
Let me get ready.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah, man. I'm talking about the pout. Mate, does your wife know you can pout like that?
Well, I don't have a wife, so it's all right.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So,
right. Okay, your partner. Yeah.
But I think she'll be surprised when she sees that. So,
yes, be like, oh, my man's got attitude. So, I know you're busy. You're looking after another meeting later on, aren't you?
Yes. So in an hour's time, I am hosting a networking meeting, part of a group of which I run, which everyone's invited to. I can drop the link in the chat if people want to, in the comments. Sorry.
Is that Sarah English's group?
Yeah. Sarah, she can't make it today, but I'm hosting it.
Fantastic.
So it's an hour, 12 to 1. So.
Might pop along, guys. So we'll mention that again towards the end. If you want to carry on with your networking. Then you can definitely follow Zoe to the next place he's going to, and you'll have a lot of fun there because it's part of his whole. Anyway, we can talk about that. It's part of his network. So Zoe, please tell the people watching, what do you do for a business?
Right. Okay. So guys, I am a brand specialist. What does that mean? Well, I help your business get noticed. I help it get recognized, and essentially, I give it the identity that it needs to help you identify your ideal customers. So in a nutshell, branding is the tool that you need to get recognized and to ultimately find the right clients for you.
Fantastic. Yeah, because branding is so important. And I mean, the thing is with branding, I suppose a lot of people do get confused and think that their branding is a logo. Can you expand on what branding is to those people who think they know what it is?
Well, branding is a lot more than a logo. So a lot of people think, branding is just something that is a visual mark. They think it's something that they think it's purely visual. They think that as a logo, as a word mark, that's it. It's a lot more than that. Branding is almost it's emotion, it's communication, it's behavior, it's philosophy, it's everything that the company. It's everything that you don't see, if you know what I mean. So that might sound a little bit, I'm going to go. I just want to explain that a little bit. So when you're not in the room, that is essentially that's what branding is. It's what people talk about when you're not
when you're not there.
That,
guys.
You see what I mean? When you're not there, that's what people talk about, and your brand is shaped around everything that you're putting out there in terms of not just your marketing, but everything connected to your brand. So the visual language, the colors that you use, the tone of text, the tone of written content. There's so much to it that can shape a brand. And you know one thing, guys, that one miscalculation or misinterpretation that you make in your branding can either make or break you. So it's a very sensitive aspect of in your business.
Wow. And I suppose if anybody's trying to still kind of figure out what that means, just think of Coca-Cola in terms of, you know, people do talk about Coca-Cola, McDonald's when they're not in front of Coca-Cola, McDonald's. They talk about their food, the quality, they know the standard, they know theoretically what they stand for. And those are big, strong worldwide brands. But the thing is, anyone can create a brand if they've got the right guidance. And this is where you need to speak to Zoe, because Zoe. So do you do all the content and the writing and everything else, or?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can help devise a fully fledged brand strategy, marketing plan as well. Because as I said, it doesn't just stop with the logo. It doesn't just stop with having, you know, a few business cards made or even a website. It's the forward planning from that. Yeah, so it's everything that. It's everything that you need really for people to understand more about your business. And remember, guys, visual language is so important because it's important to have copywriting. It's important to have all of these services. You know, I'm not going to say don't work on social media and don't do this and that, but visually there is so much. There's a deeper psychology to branding to really help you get recognized. And it doesn't matter if you're a startup. It doesn't matter whether you're a few years into business or whether you're 10 years into business. I work with people of all sizes of business. You know, I mean, my biggest client at the moment is an award-winning car servicing center in the Midlands, and they've been going for around, I'd say, around 10 years now. And
wow.
And I'm currently helping them redevelop their branded content for digital and social as well.
Brilliant. So, guys, you've heard it here first. This is the guy that can help you define your outlook, or what the perception is of your business company to the outside world, and get people talking about you when you're not there. So, Zoe, man, that's some superpowers you got there, mate. I think there'll be a lot of people who will be like, oh, how do we get his phone number? But we'll get it at the end. So, what inspired you to start the business?
Well, around just over 4 years ago, I was made redundant in my last corporate job. I was working for an energy and utilities company in Solihull, just outside of Birmingham. And then I spent a number of months basically looking for work, freelancing, contracting, doing all sorts of work just to keep myself busy. And eventually I was like, you know, I need to do more than this. I need a little bit more consistency. I need to do something which is going to really fuel my passion.
Yeah.
And then going along to networking, obviously we met soon after I started networking. And I think what inspired me was when people were saying to me, well, look, you know, do you have what's your main skill? What's your experience? You know, you're good at talking, you're good at networking, you can build rapport with people. And I was like, okay. So I just
you became group leader, didn't you?
I became group leader at Foren. I got involved with BNI as well. For those of you who know BNI, I was also part of a speakers club. I was helping them with their branding. So I thought to myself, there's something in this. There's maybe a hidden meaning behind this, in the sense that I can help people. I can help people basically discover their identity. I can help people create something for them, you know, that can help them find their ideal clients and just really kind of create something, create a brand for people, which is what I was always into. So what inspired me was I was like, well, okay, I've got all this. Other people are telling me I could do this, and for some reason I wasn't believing it. But I think
that old chestnut.
And I think the more I did it, and the more people pushed me, that's what led to me to say right to myself, okay, now it's time. Like, stop procrastinating, stop overthinking, and just go for it. Because there's so many times in life where you can say, and we all do it. There's so many things in life where you can say, I'm not sure. What if I don't do this? Or nah, it's all right, I'll leave it till next year. But what if that never comes? What if life happens?
This is what I'm saying. Boom, boom, boom. But guys, if you haven't just listened to Zoe and what he's just said and taken something from that, then come on, man. You need to have some more.
You got to take risks. You got to take risks. And I took the biggest risk. I have to say this, guys. I took the biggest risk in ever. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how much money you've got in your account. It doesn't matter where you are in your life. It doesn't matter about the current situation that we find ourselves in. Businesses have been starting up since lockdown last year. We've had people start various ventures and projects, but can you sit there but are you going to sit there and actually do something about it, or are you going to sit there and just let an opportunity pass by? And I thought, no, I can't let this slide. And you know what? I also said to myself, guys, either I make it work, and if it doesn't work, hypothetically speaking, if it wasn't to work, I could at least hold my head up high and say, well, I gave it a go. I tried. I did something. Boom. It's always worse to live. It's always worse to live with that regret of thinking, well, I should have done this. Or I wish I started this.
Yeah, the amount of people who expire, and in their last moments, they're going, if only, if only. If I don't want any regrets. I want to be able to say that I tried everything I could possibly try. There's loads of things I'll never be able to try because obviously there's only so many hours in the day and blah blah blah. But take a chance, take a risk on yourself. Have faith. Yeah. That's brilliant, mate. Before we press on, hey Zafran Khan says he calls us the boys. with a Z. Zo's works are amazing, guys. Get involved with him for branding. Thank you, Zafran. Keep them beautiful comments coming, sir.
Thank you, Zaf.
And Zaf, we do need to catch up. You did contact me last week, I think. FSB gentleman, Zafran, isn't he? So yeah, get in touch.
He is. Yeah,
I'm off until April the 12th. You might be able to get me next week, but then I'm off till April the 12th. So get in touch. So Zo, wow, your own business. Made redundant, follow the journey, impressed upon people that you have this certain set of skills that could be put to good use, and then decided to do it. I'm sure there's been many challenges. Tell us about some of the challenges that you've had to overcome.
Well, there's always going to be challenges, I think, in business, in personal life. But in terms of the challenges I had when I first started business, the first challenge I have to say was understanding networking. I have to say, that was one of the biggest challenges, because people think networking is just you rock up at a meeting, especially when the days when we could actually go to a meeting. People think that it's just going to a meeting, you have a tea or coffee, you give a business card out, you have a nice breakfast or a lunch or whatever it is, and that's it. And it's like, and initially I didn't even know what it was. I was invited by one of my friends, good friends, Lynn Hales, who was she was in my public speaking group that I was attending at the time. She asked me to go along to a meeting. I went along in my best suit that I had at the time, which is probably the worst suit that I have now, with horrible flimsy business cards. This is coming from somebody who's a graphic designer. But at the time, I just had whatever I had. I didn't know what a 60-second pitch was. Yeah. I didn't know what a keynote speaker was. Yeah. I didn't know what a business referral was. Yeah. None of that. So I had to throw myself into the deep end. And guys, a lot of people can say, well, yeah, take it slow and ease yourself into it. In certain situations, ease yourself in. If you want to make things work, you know what? Sometimes throwing yourself in the deep end is the best thing you can do, because you're going to force yourself to learn immediately. Yeah. You have on-the-job training, whether you're employed or not, whether you're self-employed or employed, you're going to have training, you're going to take courses, you're going to learn new things. What better way if you just say, right, you know what, I'm going to jump in the deep end, I'm going to put myself in that position where I have to do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a bit like public speaking, or when people come on my show, I run my own podcast as well. And if people were to come on this show, for example, and they're thinking, oh, well, I've never done interviews and I've never really done speaking. It's like, well, so what? What is the worst that's going to happen? What's the worst thing that happened to me that day? I said like 10 seconds of, I'm Zoe, I do graphic design. I sat down. It didn't matter. It didn't matter because nobody thought anything less of me or well, I hope not anyway. But nobody, I'm sure nobody sat there and said, oh, well, it's better that I did it than just said, oh no, Ian Preston was the host that day. So Ian, if you're watching, I appreciate his little push that day that he gave me. But it's like, it's better that I actually went to the meeting, that I met people, that I did the pitch. And from that meeting, do you know what? I met some amazing people. I met people like Rahini, Shaquille, who've become good friends. Ian Preston, the host, Michael Don Smith, who was the speaker,
Michael Don Smith, man.
who I didn't know was a member of my speakers club. I think.
Of course he is. Have you heard how he speaks?
Lynn told me afterwards, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And I was like, "She goes, that's why that's one of the reasons why we
yeah, Michael Don, man. When he speaks, birds stop flying."
And it was just fantastic. And you know what? Seriously, that day, I could have sat home that day and thought, "Oh no, Lynn, I don't want to go to it. It's all right. I'll carry on job hunting, or I'll carry on just looking for contracts and stuff." But going to that meeting just opened this whole new world to me. I thought, "Wow, networking." And my family didn't know what it was. My brothers and sisters were "What is it? What's networking?"
It does. It does. I mean, I think I mentioned the other day in your group. First time I went networking, I ended up paying £500. I never went back, but I didn't get it. I went there. I thought, yeah. I was working for a company at the time. Went there, I do this and I do that. And then thought, oh, this is great. Paid 500 nicker. Didn't go back. Didn't get it. And the only time I started to get it was when I had to go under my own steam.
Yeah.
And it took a bit of time. But yeah, you kind of you do grow into things, don't you? You just become better, slicker. The more that you do things, the better you become. And now you run your own networking group. So obviously,
yeah. but that was only through consistency and repetition.
Yeah.
There's two things that I'll say to people, which also applies to branding.
Yeah.
You've got to be consistent, and you have to be repetitive. But repetitive doesn't mean posting the same content, using the same material, constantly doing the same thing. You've got to. So this is kind of a nice little tie-in to branding, is that you've got to find your own way. You've got to develop your own style, develop your own tone of language. Your brand is reflecting you every step of the way. And guys, when you do networking, you are representing your brand.
Yeah.
You're not just representing your business. Everything you're saying, from your pitch to your keynote talk, from your contribution in breakout rooms, any comments that you make at the end, when you're sharing it to your Facebook page or whatever. These are all activities, and it's all part of your. Do not underestimate the power of your brand as well. People say to me, "Well, I don't have a brand." I'm like, "What do you do? You haven't found it yet. You haven't discovered it yet." And speaking of Zafran, who commented, Zafran does a fantastic talk show called Biz Chat with Zaf on Tuesday evenings. He initially wanted to call it something else. I got in touch with him. I branded up his live streams and everything like that, and that was giving him the identity that he not just wanted. It's the identity that I knew reflected his show.
Yeah.
So that's what branding does. That's the power of branding.
Yeah.
It gives it. You're putting your stamp. You're putting your stamp on what you do.
Yeah. And you're right, because I mean, it's something I say to a lot of people when they say, "Oh, well, I've got a business page on Facebook, but my personal page is for me and my family." And I just say to them, look, your business is you, and you are your business. And for that, I'm going to add brand. Your business, you are your business. Your business is your brand. Your brand is your business. Your business is you. Because all the way through, like you say, everything you do, you sneeze the wrong way, that reflects on your brand. If your French is terrible, so every other word is off, then that's going to reflect on your brand. So just be mindful, guys. I think the days of kind of thinking, I'm going to keep my business separate from my personal life, unless you're running some multinational company, the reality is your business and brand is you, and you are your business and brand. So, just remember that when you're out and about. My favorite question. So, Zoe, tell us one thing about you that not many people know about.
Ooh, that is a great question. Tell us one thing that I do not know about. Okay, all right. I think because I do so much, because I do so many things online now. I think a lot of people know. I mean, are we talking fun facts? Are we talking something humorous?
Something that you
okay.
Anything, man. Something that you play. You might play the violin or the flute.
Not many people know about it. So I don't think there's many kind of hidden talents as such, but in the sense of, I mean, I'll say I'll give a fun fact which I've shared before, but never really online or anything. So I once received 10 bus lane fines in 1 week.
Where was you?
So in, I think this is 2013. This is when the bus lane, all the bus lane stuff was just coming into play, and I think it was around. I think what happened was I was working for a company at the time, and I was traveling through town, and I think it was where Snow Hill meets Cornwall Row.
Yeah.
And it was just up when you're driving from Snow Hill, like the roundabout, up toward the Wesleyan, and I received and at the time then there was, I didn't know, but there was bus lane cameras. I don't think they're there now, or I've never driven there since actually. So I probably probably don't know really. So I don't want to be too confident about that. But I received 10 bus lane tickets in 1 week, which was just like, oh my god! And I just started driving as well. So when I came home, I remember the time my dad was like, "What the hell have you been doing?" He was like, you know,
did he manage to get them squashed?
I think they no you pay, I think I paid like half of the fines if you pay it within a certain amount of time or something. But
you paid half of the 10 fines?
Yeah, we paid half of them. Yeah. So whatever it was, I think it was like 30. I think it was 60. Was it 60 quid or something? I can't remember how much it was actually, but I paid half of the fines up before a certain point. But I've never driven, like I don't hardly drive into town now, especially with the new congestion thing coming in. I'm like, you know what?
So I mean, the thing is, you know, because we're both brothers, we're going to touch on that in a minute. The thing is, right, I can't understand how people's council tax can go up every year when councils are fleecing people. They're fleecing money out of people. Oh, you've gone into that lane. Oh, there's no buses around, but we're still going to take your money. Yeah. Absolute. That's highway robbery. At least Dick Turpin wore a mask.
Yeah.
What do you think about? I'll tell you before we go into that. When I first started working for Yale, they sent me to North Wales. I managed to get free speeding tickets, notifications in 6 weeks because they have cameras there which are just hidden in horse boxes and things. But besides that, what's your thoughts on CAS, on this clean air zone around Birmingham?
Well, I think it can only be a good thing. I know people aren't happy with, like, you know, if you got a diesel car and under a certain date, a petrol car on a certain date, it's like, you know, you're gonna get, there's gonna be a charge and stuff. But I think for the environment, it can only be a good thing. And also if it's gonna encourage people to, let's say, to use public transport more, or to maybe do more walking and stuff. I mean, you're not gonna walk from certain areas to the city centre, but yeah, I think I'm all for it really. And you know, I think it's gonna help with general traffic flow through city centre. And yeah, I'd say
I personally think it won't.
It's innovative. In my eyes, it's innovative. A small part of me thinks they're trying to maybe follow what London are doing with certain things.
And the problem I've got with it, though, is if you look at the area and just outside of that zone, let's be honest, these aren't affluent areas. So they're asking people with nothing to then contribute to something which, you know, is hurting their families even more. Most of them will have cars which are old as well. I mean, you know, you're talking about Ladywood here. You're talking about like, what's the border of just after the mosque, Borsal Heath, Borsal Common, all those locations where they're just on the edge of town.
Yeah,
they're not rich. They're not rich areas.
No.
And for me, it's like, you know, surely they can think of something better than saying, "Oh, I'll tell you what, if you come to Birmingham, we're going to take money off you." I don't think it's a positive thing myself. I really don't. I think when you add this to COVID as well. I mean, I went to Birmingham. I met my brother. My brother came up from Germany. He wanted to go up there and do a bit of filming. And Birmingham's like a ghost town, man. With all the roads that are closed off and this, that, and the other. The thing is, who's going to be in Birmingham now? Eventually, we're going to talk about students. You know, you've got all these companies who've had a year out of an office who are thinking, hey, that rent that we've saved is amazing. Why are they going to come back to Birmingham and say, oh, we're going to cover everyone's CAS now? So, you know, it's going to cost me £50 a week to get to work. Really? £200 a month? That's my council tax. So I'll be honest, in Birmingham, we're probably going to fall out. I'll get the train every now and again. But yeah, I can't see the positives of it. I know they're talking about clean air and so on and so forth. if they're that serious, tell you what, let's ban all diesel cars, give us a subsidy, and we'll all buy petrol. Boom, there's your problem solved. But it won't be, because what will happen in 5 years, they'll say, hey, you know when we thought petrol was good for you? Well, we've just realised that these mini particles, honest to God, don't get me started. In fact, if you do have another show and it's about, you can say anything you want, politics will be my thing. Anyway, sorry guys, if you're Birmingham Council lovers, I do apologise if I offended any of you, but I just think it's a ridiculous policy. Why not strangle our city even more by introducing charges for people to come there? London's no quieter. You go to London, it's still got the same amount of traffic. So it's not going to, to me, it's not going to improve the traffic. It's just going to make more money for the council. If the council then was to put that money into the roads, which they won't, because what they'll do, they'll give themselves pay rises instead. Sorry, my politics are coming out now. Sorry, guys. Right, as we move on. So if somebody was crazy enough right now to start their own business, what advice would you give them?
My biggest advice would be understand that you all have, that you have a skill, you've got knowledge, you've got experience. If you think it can be marketed, if you think that there's something there, if there's a gap in the market, or if there's another way that you can do something, have the confidence to, do your research first. I don't want to say to anybody, go on Company's House right now, set up a limited company, be a sole trader.
Don't do that yet. It costs you a lot of money.
Don't jump into it. I think you have to do your research. You have to understand, okay, well, is this something that I can do? And when people do networking, when people, let's say, everyone has side ventures. It doesn't mean that side venture is a business, and that's fine. Don't downplay it thinking, oh well, it's not a business, which means I'm not going to be taken seriously.
If you're getting paid, it's a business. If you're getting money, it's a business.
You're getting paid. There's no reason why it can't become a business. And there's too many people who get strung up on like, oh well, okay, I'm not sure where it's going to go, or oh, this is just something that I'm doing on the side. That's okay. That's absolutely not a problem. There's no reason why it can't. There's no reason why it can't grow. There's no reason why it can't be branded. There's no reason why you can't have employees or outsource work, collaborate with people. There's never ever doubt your ability. Don't ever think that you can't do something. And so the biggest advice I'd give is don't overthink. Understand that you've got a skill. And if there's an opportunity to start, then why not? But assess your potential stumbling blocks as well. Assess your maybe objections, and that's not from other people. That's a lot of the objections you have are from within. They're always from within. There's always like, well, I don't have the capital. What if? I don't have the capital right now. I'm not going to have enough time to maintain it. When lockdown ends, or what's going to happen? It's like, well, the more you do that, the more you're potentially allowing somebody else to fill.
You're stifling your growth. It's like I said the other day, Crosley. I always remember him saying this. The problem with humans, in fact, no, I say, Crosley said, dogs, they know black and white, they know yes and no. Dogs are brilliant. The problem with humans is we go, what if? And we get stuck in what if. If we could eliminate what if, we'd actually get a lot more done. People would know where they stood. I mean, none of it's like kind of like, oh wow, does he like me? And that, no, I don't. Oh, fair enough. Well, yes, I do. Well, fair enough. But instead, we go, oh, what if? Oh, what? And we spend that much time in the what if, the kind of thinking about it phase. Wow, guys, if you add up all the time that you've spent thinking about something rather than doing it, you've probably lost years, man. Lost years. So Zoe's right. Take action. If you're scared to take the action, then reach out. Speak to somebody in business. Go to a network meeting. Most network meetings you go to, if you ask somebody a question, I'm thinking of starting a business, blah, 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 what do you think? They will tell you, they will talk to you. You might not like their advice, but that's not to say you got to follow their advice. So absolutely, self-talk, positive self-talk, believe in yourself. You can do it. Boom. So, man, you're speaking my language. Is there anything that the people watching can do to help you right now, sir?
Well, I think right now, what I'd like people to think about is what are you maybe not doing in your business, or what are you not doing that can help you feed your current branding? So, a lot of people don't think about, let's say, refreshing their brand. They don't think about, let's say, adding a new string to their brand in terms of another communication channel.
Yeah.
I mean, you gave a great presentation a few months ago, Nigel, about sales touch points.
Yeah.
And people just think sales touch points are, right, you're on the phone, email.
That's near the end. That's near the end. That is.
I know. Your people get hung up in, right, customers, and all that sort of stuff. But what about your relationship building? What about your visual language? What about how you communicate through, the various channels that your business is present on?
Yeah.
So what I say to people is really, really, really understand that anything that you're doing to leverage your current business or connect your brand to your ideal clients, everyone's got their own journey. And you know what, guys, if you haven't embraced things like networking, the world is online at the moment. Let's be honest, the world is online.
Absolutely.
So why not take advantage of that? I have people say to me, "Well, I'm going to wait until June, and when events start back up." Well, but so you're going to spend 3 months
doing what?
Waiting, and in that time you're going to be doing different methods, work with different people, but. Why not come on to my meeting? It's in half an hour, guys.
Yeah.
So Nigel's usually on there. Come along if you want to meet some new business owners, if you want to potentially generate new leads, if you just want to connect with some new people, and that is really important. So what I say to people is, in terms of how they can help me, I suppose, is really take advantage of new opportunities that come your way, whether it's networking, whether it's podcasting, whether it's doing videos, whether it's whether it's kind of really understanding that their brand is a true reflection of them. And remember, it's identity.
Yeah.
It is an identity, and you're all different in your own way.
Boom. Words to the wise. And hear that, guys? Seriously, I'm hoping. In fact, you should have taken notes. If you haven't, then I'm going to scold. I'm scolding the lot of you now. Zoe, that is absolutely fantastic, sir. If you could, because we're going to wrap up now, I know you've got to go and get ready for your meeting. Drop all your links in the comments. So the links to your networking events, the business. If you've got any resources which people can go through, maybe look at to kind of give them an idea of the knowledge that you're able to help them to get to, the stage they're able to get to. And if you could do that, that'd be absolutely fantastic. People, if you have any questions for Zoe, reach out to him. He does not bite. He's a great guy. And he'll take the time to come back to you and help you along the way. And even if you just want to speak to him about, your brand or what lack of brand that you want to maybe move forward, give him a call, man. He doesn't bite. He's here. He's a good guy. Zoe, thank you very much, sir. People watching, the hashtag replay. Right. So the landing page is ready. I'm actually going to be off from next week. I'm going to send the landing page out to everyone who's done hashtag replay on Good Friday. That gives me time then to I haven't got to do anything. I'll just send you the link and you guys can get on with it. Anyone who's wondering what I'm talking about, if you watch the video to the end and do hashtag replay, you will get a free gift. Gifts from myself. So I'll be going through the videos next week and sending those people a message with a landing page they can go to and go and get their free gifts. So thank you so much for joining us today. People watching, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to comment if you've watched the replay. And this is the last Love Sales Hate Selling interview until after Easter. So next week I might do a couple of lives, just impromptu, see if I can get some people to come and do this like a non-formal interview. But the next one will be back on the 13th of April. I can't remember who it is. I think it's John Koss. So that's going to be a good one. So all the promotions and stuff will be coming out for that ASAP. But people, have a fantastic Thursday and we shall see y'all soon.
And Nigel, I just want to say thanks for this opportunity today. And guys, if you want to share a little bit about yourself, about your business, I would fully recommend coming on this platform. This has been a great experience, Nigel. And thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you, Zoe. Thanks very much for coming on. Bye, babes.